Welcome to the series, Is Your Church Ready for Change? My name is Allison Sack. I'm the founder of the 522 group, where our mission is to help churches and nonprofits pursue their purpose in a fruitful way. A quick caveat on this series, we're going to start with the assumption that you, your church leadership, have already done the work of prayer and discernment. And through prayer and discernment, you feel you understand where God is leading your community, and now you're ready to make changes to help you live into that call. If you have not already gone through the work of discernment, I encourage you to do that first, and then come back to this video series once you're ready. I also want to make sure that we're setting a base level understanding of change, particularly for churches. Unlike businesses or large corporations, churches tend not to make large scale sweeping changes. It happens, but it's usually a result of some pretty dramatic events. So while your church may have long range plans, chances are you're building into those plans slowly and incrementally. And I want you to be able to use this series as a reference each time your church is looking to make another change. I'll have some free resources for you to use. And of course, I'm here as well. My contact information is in the video description. So please feel free to reach out to me as you need. I also want to make sure that we approach change with the understanding that we may know that change needs to happen and still not be ready for that change. One of my educational psychology professors used to hammer this point home in almost all of his lectures, and it has proven to be true time and time again in my professional experience. So while your leaders or even your congregation or parish may understand and know that change should happen, that doesn't mean that they're psychologically ready to do so. And we'll talk more about that as we go through the series. We'll be covering three main change topics in this series. The first is a change impact assessment. Change impact assessments are a structured way of determining how change within the organization impacts the people within that organization. And depending upon where you sit in any particular organization, it could impact you differently. So we'll walk through how to do a simplified change impact assessment, and we'll talk through how to assess for change saturation. A little bit about change saturation before we move on. It's exactly what it sounds like. The community or organization has gone through so much change within a particular period of time that there just isn't the psychological room to take on any more. Change saturation can be a huge stumbling block for accepting change. So knowing how change will impact the church and how much is too much is a critical piece for overcoming any resistance. The second topic that we'll be covering is what I call examining your myths. These are the words and phrases that shape our communal culture. For example, your church may see itself as the family-friendly church, right? Your website, the literature, how you talk about and promote your church is all about the family. But perhaps when you take a look at your congregation, there are very few families. Maybe your programming at the church has evolved to such an extent that there's not much for families in your programming at all. That makes being a family-friendly church a myth, one that should be examined before you attempt to move forward. So we'll talk about myths, how to deconstruct them for the community, if that's what's necessary, or how to help your community see that change is necessary so that those myths become true again. Finally, we'll cap off the series by talking about communicating well and making sure that you're creating and delivering communication in such a way that all within your community are able to hear you. We'll look at creating a plan with a focus on what I call surround sound. Having a plan and structuring how you communicate what's happening in the church will ease any pushback, resistance, rumors, innuendo. I'm not promising it's going to alleviate all of it, but it will help with the majority of it. And I'll have some free downloads with that video as well. So you've got a step-by-step plan to create good communication. I'll be posting a new video each week, starting with the change impact assessment. I'm here for you if you have any questions. As I said before, my contact information and the link to my website will be posted down below. Please subscribe to my channel so you get updates when new videos are posted.